Mr. Dennis Miller, it is a pleasure to spend some time with you.
Dr. Lark, it's my pleasure to be here.
Good, good. Let's talk about very interesting topic of what happens, what can happen to young people when life is not very happy in the beginning.
Right.
Kids who have rough beginnings often have a very difficult time, and sometimes it lasts forever. You have a very lovely career. It kind of goes in an arc and keeps going up after rough beginnings, and we'd like to hear some of how that happens. So let me just ask you, you write about it in your book, you talk about it everywhere, you're giving a TED Talk.
Right.
This is the book right here in which you describe a lot of what happens. Mopping floors to CEO, and now you're the CEO.
Right.
So I am just very, very curious. To start, how did you know that there was something even wrong that you wanted to address, that you needed to help?
It's interesting. I really didn't know anything was wrong. Even through, grammar school, I had difficulty with, my father was an abusive man, very talented, but I learned later in life I had a personality disorder, gender identity issues, loud outbursts of anger and rage, difficulty in the holidays, not allowed to play in the backyard because he wanted to look at the grass, so my mother would have to say, boys, your father's coming up, it's 5 o'clock, you have to get out of the backyard, you want to continue playing the game, you have to go out in the street. At Christmas time, my mother would make everything as best she can. She was a good person, but one day she gave my dad a gift, and he said, this better not be what I think it is because someone's going to get a punch in the mouth. So it was like, I went through that kind of trauma. If you sat in the living room, family room to watch TV, and you wanted something to drink or eat, you had to go to the kitchen. You could not eat it in the family room. If you wanted to lie down in the family room to watch TV, you had to go to your bedroom and lie down. That's how sick it was. Yeah.
So what was it that gave you some indication that maybe something wasn't right?
I really didn't know things were right. I remember that, I certainly had to repeat 5th grade because I was told I wasn't emotionally ready. I remember in 7th grade, my teacher made me carry my desk and my books down a flight of stairs at a Catholic school and the head nun put my desk in the supply closet and told me to teach myself. I wasn't aware of anything I did. That was the last day I went to that Catholic school, but even through my later years in grammar school, 7th and 8th grade, same thing, my teacher had my desk pulled to the side so she can watch me. And in 8th grade, my teacher came to my house. Now, I never heard about the conversation. Years later, I wish I could have tell them thank you very much because obviously you cared. But so I didn't know that I was different. I didn't know what was going on. It wasn't until I was about 20 years old when life just really was falling apart for me, depression, anxiety, despondency. And I self-admitted myself to a private psychiatric hospital at the age of 20. And then a priest came to visit me from our parish. I didn't know him, but I realized he had a very calm demeanor about him. And when I got out of the hospital about 4 or 5 weeks later, he said, come see me. And I said, sure. And I realized, well, I'm never going to see anybody. And then one day I got really distraught and went to him. And the first time in my life at the age of 20, when I opened up and I cried so much to tell him how bad my life was that's when I realized I became conscious of how it really was. I kind of hid it. I used my humor a lot. My humor, joking around, kind of hid the trauma that I was experiencing. So I wasn't really conscious that things were going bad. I do remember even people telling me they were, going to go on vacation with their parents, and I thought, oh my God, I feel bad. And I realized, why do you feel bad? Because I thought everybody went on vacation with their parents had a difficult time. So I was somewhat consciously aware as a young kid. I experienced the pain of the trauma emotionally, but I wasn't as conscious of it as I wasn't until later on in life.